we playing all over. Pagua, we playing all over. We're proud and celebrating 'cause this is the culture. Proud and celebrating 'cause this is the culture. Look at the colors all over. Yes, it's happy and powder all over. Why you say holy Karena Mudira? Holy Karena Mudira. We're spraying the happy, we throwing the powder. Holy Karena Mudira. We're spraying the happy, we throwing the powder. Holy Karena Mudira.
A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Today is Pagua, eh? Are we ready or are you about to finish up with the day? So, again, a very good afternoon to you, and it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in New York, and I'm sure in Guyana too. And you guys, we know that Pagua is different in Guyana than the US. Nevertheless, we here in New York, we are doing our thing. The bad thing is that this pandemic is causing a lot of problem all over the world for us. As you guys could see in our studio, a very special guy, Mr. Bedesi. Today he's here to talk about a lot of things, and I'm so glad that he is here in studio to talk to us about. So a very pleasant good afternoon to you, Mr. Bedesi, and how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on your show here.
You are welcome anytime. So guys, please continue to share the page for your friends so that they could see some of the plans that Mr. Bedesi have for Guyana. We know that this has been a serious problem in Guyana, where abuse of both women, men, children, and I'm so glad that he is taking such a big project on. He's going to animals too, and he wants to make sure that animals have a right also in Guyana. So again, you're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show right here on Island Zone Radio. We're also on Facebook Live, TuneIn, Mixcloud, Turner. So please continue to share. We're going to let the numbers go up a little bit. We want to say hello to some of our viewers who is watching. Thank you, guys. Please continue to share. I know DJ is going to play another song for us. I think you guys would want to hear Angela Moti. Is she ready? Okay, the next song he says that she'll be singing. So yes, guys, continue to share the program today. So Deo Moti, I see you were locked on. We're gonna play a song coming up. If not this one, the next song. Joy Rambaran, thanks for tuning in. She's saying the volume is down a little bit. We're gonna work on that. Priya Prasad watching all the way from Guyana. I know you had a good day today. Joy Rambaran, good to see you on. Radha Totaram, good to see you on. And I know that Deo Moti is sitting patiently. He and his wife doing a fantastic job in Florida. You guys know that his wife is a great singer, and he is all the way from Lenora on the west coast of Demerara. We have Raj Narayan Nandalal is watching, guys. Please continue to share the show. Are you ready, guys? DJ?
It's your boy DJ Sean, alongside the Bollywood medley queen, Angela, sing it out. time, right? Angela, sing to them.
कहीं मेरी मर्जी है तो अच्छा चल तू खुश हो ले आज आके चुना ना मुझे चाहे मुझे दो से भिगो ले
हीरे की गई है तू, मती से बनी है तू। हीरे की गई है तू, मती से बनी है तू। छूने से जो टूट जाएंगी।
हाथों की छूनी सी फूलों से नाजुक नाजुक बदन चल जाते हैं होली के दिन दिल खिल जाते हैं रंगों में रंग मिल जाते हैं गिले शिकवे भूल के दोस्तों दुश्मन भी गले मिल जाते हैं होली के दिन दिल खिल जाते हैं रंगों में रंग मिल जाते हैं होली के दिन दिल खिल जाते हैं रंगों में रंग मिल जाते हैं
It's another big VJ production.
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. We know that today is Pagua, so we want you guys to have fun. Also, we want you to watch the show. You know, today I have a very special young man in our studio today, Mr. Veronica Bethune. And you know what? From a long time ago, I know this name is synonymous. I know this name for a long time. Unfortunately, I didn't get to know you long before. And I really applaud you for taking on such a big responsibility. We know that you are an advocate for domestic violence, also abuse. Also, you want to make sure that animal rights happen in Guyana, which is such a beautiful thing, and I really admire you for that. For our viewers, can you say exactly who is Veronica Bethune?
Well, we have been in business in the United States and Canada for over 45 years. We're a household name. We have a motto that we're in your kitchen more than you think because of the grocery we sell to you. A lot of people are using our grocery for 45 years in the United States and Canada, such as from Robin Hood flour, Five Rose flour, Lawless curry powder. Those are our brand we distribute, but Milo, Ovaltine, we distribute those stuff. But we have our own brand of chow mein, Guyanese Pride, Brown Betty, from Kazrip to Cook the Milk, to even the frozen seafood that you've been using over the years. So we've been in the distribution business and also sporting goods. We have Bidesi Sporting Goods, which brought all the cricket equipment to the colleges, the universities, playing at the park. You would normally get your equipment from us. So we've been there. My dad started this business back in '59, where we're originally from in Berbice, back in the '60s, and then we moved to Canada, and he started this Caribbean outlet, because in Canada at that time you didn't have anywhere to go to pick up your grocery or the things that you use in back home. So he started to import, and he was an importer back in the 50s and 60s, so he knew what to do, and that's how come we end up in the distribution outline.
So you were saying that if we go to one of your store, by the way, you have stores in New York and in Canada too?
Yeah, we are a wholesale distributor. We only sell to the stores. So when you go on Liberty Avenue, all those stores, or wherever these stores are, if it's in Minnesota, Orlando, we sell them the grocery and they resell it to you. We also, with the COVID-19, we created a new platform, online sales, which is called buyeasy.com, BUYEASY.com, where you can shop and it can be delivered to your home. So if you're fear of COVID-19, you can actually go online, select what you want, and it gets delivered within a day or two. Depends on where you're located.
That's a good thing. I really thought that we could go in a Bidesi store. You have a store that's called Bidesi store, and we could go and find all the things that we want. But now I'm learning that you guys are doing the big things, right?
Correct. With a distributor that wherever you go, if it's in Queens Village or in the Bronx, you go into your regular grocery store and you'll find our product in there.
And the other thing is, you said this is your father who had this. He was the brain behind all of this.
Yes. He was doing this back in Guyana. My great-grandparents on both sides of the family was doing it as well. My dad peacefully passed away 4 years ago, and I'm taking over the lead. I have actually managed the United States by myself and another brother, but he was mostly in Canada with two other brothers managing that division
Oh, so you got two brothers that's doing this.
in Canada.
That's a good thing because in these days you always find people are not getting along and they're fighting and so on. So
Yes.
I'm hoping that you and your brothers that you guys have something that's really good going on, right?
Well, every relationship is a personal, family, businesses. We all have ups and downs. It's how you deal with it.
And when I was hearing you guys in Brooklyn, I was wondering to know how come you guys were not in Queens. That in terms of Brooklyn, because we know that Queens is where most of Guyanese who I thought was in Richmond Hill.
Well, back in the days, we were in New York since 1977, and to find a warehouse that we have a 65,000 square foot facilities in Brooklyn. You wouldn't find a warehouse that size to store products, so we had to select Brooklyn, and now we're looking at a place in Jersey, maybe 3 times the size. So as the distribution grow, we need bigger space to store the product or a wider range of products as well.
That's good. And ladies and gentlemen, I know we are talking to the man, Vernon Baldeo, and you know what, he's doing such a fantastic job here in New York. And what really got my attention and why I really wanted to do this interview is because he's an advocate for domestic violence, domestic abuse, animal abuse, and it's a great thing to do. We all know that Guyana has a lot of problems in terms of abuse, where women are being abused so much, and he wants to make such a big difference. When we come back, I'm going to talk. DJ is going to get another song. When we come back, I'm going to try to grill him a little bit and see what plans he has for Guyana in terms of he wants to build some shelters in Guyana for male and female, also for some animals. So we're going to talk to him and hear all the good things that he have planned for Guyana.
Yes.
Let's go, DJ.
Long time ago in ancient India. Long time ago in ancient India. Radha and Krishna was celebrated Bhagwa. Radha and Krishna was celebrated Bhagwa.
Let us all sing and dance with Rama and Krishna.
Let us all sing and dance with Rama and Krishna. Pandit Hajna Jan, Pandit Hajna Jan. Kaila Abhira se marela. Pandit Hajna Jan, Pandit Hajna Jan. Kaila Abhira se marela.
Panagadna Jan, Kaila Abira Jamahira.
Panagadna
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. So, Mr. Bethune, quick question. Of recently, I did not hear anything about the hemp industry that's going on in Guyana, and I learned that you are the chairman. I know a lot of our viewers don't know anything about hemp. Can you please elaborate on us? What do you do? What's your position in this industry?
Well, I've been the chairman of Guyana Hemp for 4 years now, and we've been lobbying from the previous government to the current government to pass hemp because the current president, when he was lobbying for running for president, he says he's going to pass hemp, and the 50,000 jobs was going to come from hemp because the sugar is failing, the rice is failing, or the rice is not failing that much, but the sugar has failed, as you know, over 50%. So if we jumpstart the hemp industry where we can plant hemp, and there's 50,000 farmers or even less that can grow hemp, we will all be successful. So we would do job creation. I think it's about to come around anytime soon, maybe in about this quarter before now in summer, that they're going to give us the pilot project. And once we get that pilot project going, then the farmers will know how to plant it in Guyana. We just can't really just go and plant it because there's no knowledge of how it will grow, what obstacle, or if it's going to have pesticides, mold, mildew, fungus. So we do need a trial project. And once that trial project starts, then permits or license will be given to the lower farmers first, then the bigger farmers in time to come.
And may I ask you, I know we are having some problem with the volume. I don't know, for some reason we are getting a feedback, but I'm trying to get things better. What is hemp really, though? I've never heard of a hemp. I mean, I heard of it in the United States, but what is it really for?
Well, hemp is from the cannabis species. In the cannabis species, you have marijuana and hemp. Hemp is the male plant, marijuana is the female plant, but each species have their own male and female. The marijuana is the one that has the toxic THC that gets you high. The hemp doesn't. The hemp has 0.3 THC, whereas the marijuana has 2.0. Recently, last week in United States, New York, has granted or will be passing that people can actually grow marijuana in their homes or on their property. They allow about 3 to 6 trees. So Guyana is really behind the 8 ball because they haven't even passed hemp yet. And United States, Canada, and probably the rest of the world has hemp passed since 2018, and we're now 2021. So everything in Guyana is a slow process, but surely would happen, in time to come.
And what do you think are going to be some of the use for hemp in Guyana?
Well, for Guyana, they don't use hemp, so we have to create an industry. Like hemp can give you protein, like how you have flour to make roti, or that will give you 7 times more protein than flour. So that's a superfood right by itself. Or we can do a sector where we can have hemp milk, just like soy milk. And Guyana imports milk, and they hardly have that much cattle industry for milk, like dairy. So you can have hemp milk, which is nutritious, hemp protein as well to use. You can do over 50,000 uses of hemp. Hemp can even make biofuel for your cars at 50% the cost of oil from the earth. So there's a lot of uses for hemp. Hemp also makes fiber for all expensive cars like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, their panel. It's 10 times stronger, 10 times lighter. So there's many, many uses, and hemp's been using for over 600 years. For example, those jute bags that you had back in Guyana, some of them are made with hemp. Even the ropes that anchors these ships are made with hemp.
Wow.
But people don't know it's hemp. They only figure it's rope. They don't know where rope came from or how it's made, but it's from the fibers of hemp.
So we see now that Guyana is really going to be a big thing to talk about in the future. Oil, and then we have hemp now.
Yes, hemp would be the leading industry if it gets passed over sugar and cane, because it's about 3 to 5 times more profitable, and that's why we're trying to launch it in Guyana.
Yes. Okay. So let's get to some serious business here now. We know that 55% Guyanese women between the age of 15 to 34 years abused by partners. The various forms of violence against women and girls are sexual, physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. Guyana, 1 in every 2 women are being abused in some way or the other. In Guyana, 38% of women, which they did a survey, have experienced physical and or sexual violence above the global average, which is something that really caught my attention and your attention, I'm sure.
Yes.
The study was conducted by the Guyana Bureau of Statistics with support from the Inter-American Development Bank, UN Women, the UNDP, USAID, the Global Women Institute of George Washington University, and the University of Guyana. The survey was administered among 1,498 women between the ages of 15 to 64 in the 10 administrative region. As we know that in Ghana, women of all races and in all region, they're having problems with domestic violence. Half of all the women who experience intimate partner violence never sought any kind of help in Guyana, and we will talk more about this in coming up. You know, victims, community members, and stakeholders attributed this to lack of knowledge of the available help, perceptions of being blamed or stigmatized by their situation, becoming known throughout the community, and inadequate support structures to ensure victims' safety are reported violence to the police. And this is something that we're going to be talking about too. Also, we know that one of the key issue highlighted is that women who witness violence against their mothers in childhood or have a partner who witness such violence are at significantly higher risk, continuing the cycle of exposure and violence throughout to their own children. And that's why as parents sometimes we have to be very careful how we treat our children, what kind of environment we are giving our children. You know, it found in 1 in 5 or like 20% of women in Guyana has experienced non-partner sexual abuse in their lifetime, and 13% reported experiencing this abuse before the age of 18. Being young is the most significant risk factor for non-partner sexual violence, including rape, attempted rape, unwanted sexual touching, and sexual harassment. You know, the 15 to 24 age group reported statistically higher rate of non-partner sexual violence of every type. Guyana signed onto the Convention on the Elimination of All Form of Discrimination Against Women, and to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal contained in the report are statistics from Help and Shelter, which recorded 9,966 cases of gender-based violence against women and girls from 1995 to 2018. In many cases in Guyana, the women who ensure intimate partner violence are left to be dead or badly injured before the matter is exposed. The UN survey found that existing violence prevention initiated are limited to Guyana, and this is why it is important that what you're going to do in Guyana, Mr. Herman, I tell you, I have to salute you for taking on this big responsibility on your shoulder. So let's go. How did you really get into domestic violence and domestic violence and abuse in Guyana?
Well, it all started when I was traveling back and forth from 2017, driving from Georgetown to Skeldon. I see so many animals getting killed on the road. I'm doing my math in my head. If I travel from Georgetown to Skeldon and there's 10 dogs or cats or other animals, multiply that by 365 days in a year, you got 3,000 plus animals, you know, and that's on a yearly base. And I've been traveling for the last 4 years. So I decided to start up, what do you call it, animal shelter, to figure out that would be the first cause, very easily to do that. But I do not want to just see the animals in the street. I want to take them away from the street and put them in a sanctuary where they can be cared for medically or fed, versus maybe they're causing an accident and they die, and maybe the injuries to the car owner or the passengers. So I wanted to start that off first. That's what my goal was. At the same time, I'm learning of so much violence because in the Guyanese community, you know, the men overall control everything from they drink, they smoke, they want to control their women, they're abusive, and so on. So, and that's because the women don't have a voice to, like, okay, I want to leave this relationship. I want to go. Where can you go? Everyone is on the coastline. So if you leave one village, the next village, they already know you're there. So they have no opportunities. And Guyana really don't have opportunities like job creation that they can leave and be independent. So this is why hemp is coming around that can eventually employ anyone who over the age of 18, men, women, to do that so they can get their own independence. So that's one of the angles I looked at, that if we have this hemp pass, any age, any woman can go and start being independent by growing hemp. And it's not very hard to grow hemp. It's like a plant, like tomato tree. You plant it and you water it and you take care of it. You clean the shrubs around it. And whatever you grow, you're selling it back to our organization, which is called Guyana Hemp Industry. Or on Facebook, you can find us, Guyana Hemp Industry. And it's simple. You get the plant from us, and you plant it, and we buy it back. So that's how you get your revenue very quickly. But getting back to the women, they need to be independent, and they need a voice. It's hard to, when you're in a relationship and your fiance or boyfriend, whoever it is, you don't want to say no because you don't want to hurt them in a way that you're left on the street and you have nowhere to go. You can't go to your parents' place. You don't have friends to take care of you. So these are all one thing lead to another, that why women suffer in Guyana. They have no places to go. And the education is so low that where are they going to go? They can't go to the market. They don't know farming. They don't know fishing. And the industry is so small in Guyana. There's only a few industry there. Now, there are women out in Guyana who went to college, university, etc., and they have good jobs in telecommunication or banking. Those are great, but they also end up in problems too, because once you have a relationship in Guyana, it's like the next guy don't want you if you break up. They fear that. But yes, no one was born together, so there's an opportunity. When you leave a relationship, there's another relationship, but they're afraid. So we have to now, education is the only thing that can lead to that, and that's why we're opening up our organization hopefully this year to have a gated community that we can have an outreach for women to reach to us and talk to us what their problem is and help them in any field. If they come to us for learning a computer science or farming or crafts, we will help them do that. And that's the point of opening up a women's shelter, not just for abused women, but whatever they need. If they want to talk about depression, suicide, and other areas of what they may need help in basically.
You said something that's very, very, very important there. In terms of women, when they leave one relationship, some of them feel that they can't get into another relationship. But I want to remind people, and women especially, that after you left one relationship, there is always somebody who can love you. The gate is open wide there for you.
Yes, yeah. Well, this is the problem. You see, when teenagers fell in love, they feel, or the women more so, attached to the men, that they don't have any other person they can love. And only in time, maybe 3 to 5 years of being apart, and they overcome it as time heals them, then they find someone else to love, and then they find, oh, why was I with that loser, for example, But it happens whenever a young girl has a boyfriend for the first time, or marriage, it happens. So, but the education is not teaching that in school. If they taught it in school at age, let's say 13, 14, they'll be prepared for marriage or relationship. And that is something we have to, maybe advocate for, education in school at that age.
I'm glad we're talking like this, because, and I'm going to take your lead in this. Also, one of the things that I find that we need to do, and you will learn, we will learn that we need to empower our women, because a lot of times they leave a relationship and they go back to the same abusive relationship.
Yes.
So we need to really work on our young girls from young age, that we need to go to school, we need to take our education. Let's take things one step at a time. After you marry and so on, despite we know that at any spectrum, whether you're brilliant, whether you are a doctor or whoever it is, that you can be abusive.
Yes.
Be in an abuse relationship. So we want you to be, as you said, marketable, right? So that's a good advice you give there, that we have to work on them. So how much shelter you plan to build up in Guyana?
Well, I plan to have 3 shelters of 2 each. The 3 shelters will be animal shelter, children's shelter, and a women's shelter. At a later date, we'll also put a little small area for men because some women also abuse men over in Guyana and the rest of the world too. But the ratio is more to women being abused. So we're going to have 3 shelters to have. And the location will be off the Suicide Highway in Georgetown, and the other one will be in Upper Berbice, where we'll have these shelters being. We have the land already applied for. We're just waiting for constructions to start, maybe spring or the summer.
Yes. When you were thinking about the plans that you have in Guyana, what were some of the things that you were thinking about? You want to go far out, or you wanted to stay close to the city? What was your plan?
Well, I wanted to be outskirt, not in the city. The reason for outskirt, we can get more land, more space, and I wanted to have like a gated community, which is spacious. Like in Florida, you can have a gated community where you have lots of field green grasses, and you can have lots of playing fields or have a big pool. So you want to make it homely, not like in the city you can only have a small property and then maybe a 2-floor house, and that's just too congested, and you can only have a limited amount of people. For us, for the animal shelters, we're looking to maybe up to 500 animals in both location to remove these animals from the street. And then children, we'll have to scale up to, from 1 to, let's say, a maximum capacity at a later date. Once construction is finished, maybe 500 is the same thing as women.
Well, I think that's a lot. I changed my mic, ladies and gentlemen, so let's see if you guys can hear me. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Tell me if you're still hearing me or you're having problems. For a long time, we didn't had any problem with the mic. So let me, guys. Okay. So I'm hearing myself. So let me ask you now. Did you want to make it harder for the men to travel to these women or wherever the situation is, where they can't reach these women who have been abused?
Well, that's one of the points. To have it outskirt, it would be difficult for if a woman came to us to be in our facilities, and the men would have to find money for cab to get to us or get back to their home. So it would be difficult. But not only that's the only reason, but because we are outskirt, we can transport women or children from any region or any city. Let's say someone was in region 7, 8, or 9. We'll figure out how to get them to a port or a destination, and then they can come to our facilities. So let's say we have 2 facilities, one in Berbice and one in off of Georgetown. We can just transport each other from Georgetown to Berbice or Berbice to Georgetown, so the spouse or the boyfriend will not be near them, and they will have time to breathe, recover, find more peace in their mind to live more happily.
That's a good thing. My next question to you is, when these women come to you, what's your plan on helping them? Let me see. Would you have a transportation system to help these women?
Yes. Well, we are going to work with, maybe have offices or partners in Georgetown or the cities that they can reach out to. And, like let's say a halfway house that they can go and be rescued for that night until we get to them and interview them what was the problem, or if they're willing to file a police report against their spouse or boyfriend, whoever did them harm. We have to have something, but we'll do an in-detail interview to make sure we cover all the bases with our staff or team, and then figure out what's the best solution for that person or where to take them.
I know this is a big set of work that you are taking on. How do you plan really to help? In fact, to do all of this, to make these buildings, they're going to cost a lot of money to invest. Are you going to put up your own money, or you plan to get donations? Is the government going to be a part of all of this that you're doing?
Well, when I started this project, I know I need a lot of money, and I'm looking to raise actually millions and millions of US dollars. But I'm myself going to be funding some money, and my company is going to be funding some money for this as well. But we wouldn't have enough. We still need lots more money. A project of this magnitude is over $5 million US to have state-of-the-art facilities for the women, the children, and the animals. Before we started and to get this off the ground, we did put our presentation to the government that we're willing to do this in Guyana, and they love the project, and they endorse it. And they're trying to see if they can get any funding for us at the moment. We haven't got any concrete news that we're getting X funding, but they are very interested because some of the animals, like for example in Georgetown, they're in a small 20 by 20 foot area. How is that going to help the animals? They don't have food, water, it's hot. So we need to remove these animals to a sanctuary to recover if they impound these animals, for example. So that's just one example that the government likes it because we can take them out to the sanctuary wherever they're located.
If I listen to you, some people in Guyana, and it's just a thought coming to my mind. A lot of people in Guyana, some people are poor, especially those who have horses and so on. What plans do you have? Like if you see animal abuse or these animals working so hard and we're going to take them away from them, do we have something in place where we can help the people who are like using these animals as a horse cart or whatever it is? What's going to happen then to these people? Because we don't want to fix one problem and then we have another problem there where a man who have a horse which he can't even afford to feed, they're pulling all these whatever it is. So what is there anything you have?
Well, my vision for that is being in this business and my knowledge and experience as well. I'm looking to take away these horse and cart or donkey and cart from these owners, but providing them with a replacement. I can design a lightweight galvanized steel cart in China, for example, and have a tiller motor attached to it, which is not going to be like a speed of a car, but it's the same speed equal to a horse or a donkey.
Yes.
So the trade-off would be eventually in time to have that owner give up in a contract. They will never again have a cart or horse or donkey, and will give them this replacement vehicle for them to use. So that's one of my vision that I will be doing eventually. But again, we cannot, let's say there's 50 of them or 100 of them, and each one of these may cost around $1,000 US. That's 50,000. We cannot replace it all one time, but we have to start. Right. So eventually that's our goal, is to start replacing one cart at a time.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. You can probably start from Berbice or on the West Coast. And, I'm certainly sure that a man like you, you have a lot of friends who are rich and so on. And I'm certainly sure that you will get a lot of help in terms of support.
Well, we're marketing this now. We're advertising. We're looking for the public support as well. I don't want to do it myself. I invite the public to help me and be part of it. Eventually, it's going to be job creation for maybe about 500 to 1,000 people, and lots of volunteer, obviously. This is all volunteer work we're doing. Nobody's getting compensated. So we would like the public to get involved, and anyone who can donate, that's more the merrier. And if we do have some people who are financially able to donate big, we need to widen the area. If we have 2 shelters, we may need 2 more in different regions, or different things we may need,
Yes, we're going to ask DJ to get a song ready for us. In the meantime, I'm going to say hello to Priya Prasad. Happy Pagwa to you. Joy Ramaran, good to have you on. Girl, my achar is about to finish. And my hot pepper sauce with the little, what do you call it? The lime and lemon inside is about to done. I thought of you yesterday. To my very good friend Radhika Jaikaran Dripal, a very good afternoon to you too, my dear, and hope that you had a lot of fun today, right? And Priya Prasad is watching from Guyana, and she's saying you're doing a fantastic job. That's a good thing, and I'm really glad that he came on my show today. I'm sorry that we having a little problem with the mic and so on, but definitely we are getting the word out there, and I know that this is not going to be the last time for him on this show. When he's ready to do whatever he wants, I will give my all to help him make sure that he collects some money. And I was thinking of building something small for women on the West Coast. I probably would collaborate with him and help him collect some money too from you guys that help sometime with me. Desiree, Carlette, good evening to you. Holy to you too. Jean Singh, she's watching always. Jean is always, I'm sure that anytime I call on Jean for some money, I am definitely sure she will give. Also, Joy, I am so lucky that I have some of the most wonderful people watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Let's see who else we have. Priya is doing a fantastic job, and I hope that later on, sometime down the line, Priya would able to collaborate with you. She's in Ghana, young, brilliant young lady, all right? Who we have here? Sandra Kishore, watching all the way from Georgia, the Peach State. Kamla Paul Balram, good afternoon to you, and hope you are having a good time with your family. Hope you guys made some good sweets. Listen, I need some Muslim halwa. I love that all the time. You know, that's a special
Yes,
thing. You like that
very
too?
delicious. Yes.
Very delicious. I like that. And the bad thing is I have to beg for that sometime, but I don't mind. It's good. Let's see who else we have. So we have our beautiful friend Roxanne Walker Hamilton, dedicated listener to the Ken Rampersaud Show. I have been blessed. So let's go, DJ, with another song.
रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे और किने मारी पिचकारी तोरी भीगी अंगिया ओ रंग रसिया हो रंग बरसे अरे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे सोने की थारी में जो ना परोसा सोने की थारी में जो ना परोसा अरे सोने की थारी में हाँ सोने की थारी में जो ना परोसा पर खाए गोरी का यार बलम तर से रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे लौंगा इलाची का अरे लौंगा इलाची का भाई
हाँ लौंगा इलायची का
हाँ अरे लौंगा इलाची का बीड़ा लगाया
लौंगा इलायची का बीड़ा लगाया
अरे लौंगा इलाची का हाँ लौंगा इलाची का बीड़ा लगाया हर चाबे गोरी का यार बलम तर से रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर और रंग हर बेला चमेली का सेज बिछाया हर बेला चमेली का सेज बिछाया बेला चमेली का सेज बिछाया अरे बेला चमेली का हाँ बेला चमेली का सेज बिछाया सोए गोरी का सोए गोरी का याद बलम तर से रंग पर से और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे और रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे रंग बरसे भीगे चुनर वाली रंग बरसे.
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. I have my beautiful wife, Geeta Rampersaud. She is watching and listening. It's always good to have your wife watching, right?
Yes.
It's always a good thing.
Yes. Support.
So I'm very lucky I have a supportive wife. You know what? I'm sorry that she have to work the day that I'm having my show. Also, we have Miss Rowena Lal. I want to welcome you, especially into the family of Island Zone Radio. You know, you are doing such a fantastic job for Island Zone Radio, and I'm so glad that Fess hooked you up nice that you can get to look out for us. As you know, we always want somebody in the background to watch and to look on and see what's going on. Who else do we have here? Pamela Jeffers watching all the way from Pennsylvania. Good to have you on. Nanda C, good to have you on. Priya says that's a tough one. So I want you to paint a picture of me in your brains. What the plan of your room is going to be like? Or are you going to have one big dorm with all the women and children and men stay together? Or are you going to tell me what it's going to be like?
No. We're going to have, like, as you walk in, the security area first for, visitors. And then after that, you're going to go into a building where is like a ready room, just a lounge, basically. Mm-hmm. And once you pass that, you'll have different areas where children, let's say boys and girls, will have different dorms. Women would have a different dorms. We will have a smaller dorm for men who are abusive. And then you have work hand, which will have a different dorms as well. So it's all like a starfish. Imagine a starfish,
right. 5
different angles, so they're different. Heavy security system, cameras everywhere. There's different rooms, like we have medical room and many, if you have 1,000 people on this premise, you'll definitely need medical, laundry room, kitchen, big, large size kitchen to have that, recreational room. So it's a gated community where you have peace and tranquility, basically. So it's like modern. It's not something outdated. You'll have outdoor area, recreation area if you want to play games, or there's ping pong tables, for example, pool tables, whatever we have. We're going to have all the necessary thing to be happy there, basically.
That's one of the important thing, because you want to have you want to have the security for people. You want these women or men who's been abused, especially women, to feel secure while they're sleeping, especially with the children. Now, we have women and children. Sometimes you want to remove the children from the abusive situation. Would you have a special like a room with 2 beds, or 3 beds for a woman and her children?
Yeah, we'll have to cater something for that as well. Different areas it'll be segregated without mix and mingle with others. We don't. Each woman might have their own abusive situation and want to keep themselves private or shy until they open up into a little council, and then you socialize, which we understand. And we'll take notes from the public or the guests as well to improve our situation we have there in the gated community for them.
The good idea. It's a good plan, because you don't want to separate parents.
No, we wouldn't separate that. No.
I know, but I'm just throwing that out there. In terms of staffing, because you will have, I'm certainly sure that you will get a lot of women that comes in there who've been abused. In terms of your staffing there, would you have professional staff? And when I say that, like counseling, because I want to believe that, and I think that you can utilize some of the women that come in, but you got to be very careful. And I'm just putting out ideas there for you too. I hope by the end of the show that I could give something to your ear that you can really work with. In terms of staffing, to have professional counselors and so on, people who have been have the experts dealing with rape and abuse and so on.
Yes, when we start our operation, we'll have everything in place from doctor, nurses, and then as we have attendees who are attending our facilities or battered women or children, we'll interview them and making a profile in a database to know all about them from their medical history or whatever they need or short. Have an educational document in front of us, what they're good for. Like when I say that, let's say she wants to become a nurse or she wants to become a farmer or someone's craft, we'll have that data. So we will help her achieve her goals or dreams basically by having this information about that person. So then we will educate them and train them in that field. We couldn't take someone who wants to become a nurse to do farming. That wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Being independent, you have to have something what you want to dream or what you like to. But somebody can dream like they want to be an astronaut. We may not do that, but we can give you more information about that. And as you become independent, you may have to attend a school outside.
My next question to you is that sometimes you get brilliant people come there and as patients. Would you utilize them in any special area?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. We'll take notes and build a database about them, and we'll say, what do you want to do, or how can you help us back? So let's say, for example, we have many women in our shelters, for example. We'll find out how they can help. We will have, a little gardening. We'll have laundry. We'll have cooking. See what they like to participate in the shelter. But my goal is also to have major farming for the foundation, major farming in vegetables, fresh fruits, whatever the case may be, and then taking that produce, whatever is grown, and then sell it to the market or export it to our own business in the United States and Canada, and we sell that and we have revenues to share with them as well, not just keep the revenues for us. We would just give it back to the organization, what we have there, and a portion will be agreed to whoever help in farming that.
While we are talking, I see Linda is watching, and I want to say, Linda, thank you very much for hooking up with me, with Mr. Baldeo. Thank you so much. It's a blessing, and I know that he will make a big difference in the lives of so many Guyanese in Guyana. Now, how long do you have a time period when people are going to be healed? And guys, I am asking questions just that so we can get a lot of information out of Mr. Baldeo. I am on the fence right now, and I'm in neutral, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I'm asking questions. So when someone come to, okay, let's go first. What criteria will someone has to have before they become in your place?
Well, they will have to go through an interrogation, basically, with the nurses and doctor to see how they've been abused or what the abuse is, and there will have to be different type of situation to handle. From, for example, if it's rape, violent abuse, verbal abuse, depends on what, and then how does the spouse or boyfriend play a role in it? That do you want to have some medication and you're going to go back, or do you just want to permanently move away and be independent? So there's got to be an interrogation to know about that person first, and then after that will be a compromise decision with us or her and the doctors, and then from there we'll have to look at how to help her now to become independent. Independent is the main thing to be successful. Once you're independent, you can live on your own or do things on your own, and you have a job. That's all you need in life. You weren't born with nobody, so you're born by yourself. So we have to train you that you can do it.
I'm glad you say that. My other question to you is, as we know that, and I'm certainly sure that by now you know that these women are broken. They have a lot of problems with their own selves sometimes. They fall in love with the wrong person, and guess what? They would want to go back to the relationship. Let's say that someone come into your shelter today, and you, after a week, they decide, listen, Mr. Baldeo, I cannot do this anymore. I love my husband. Can I go back? What would
Well, we will have to have the spouse have counseling, before you go back. Talk to the spouse. We're aware of the situation. And with the organization that we have, for example, it's going to be a large scale, we'll have lawyers, to talk to him and say, listen, if you have another abuse, we are going to file criminal charges now, So he has to understand what he's going to do moving forward, as well as the woman is going to go back. So it's all about education and what we can do. But until that patient comes in and understand fully how to help her from being independent or making decision on her own, that's when we have to show her avenues where to go.
Now, having said that, if someone leave your facility, let's say today, and they want to come back next week, is there a waiting period for them to come back, or they have to wait like 6 months, or what's your plan? Or it will be on a case-to-case basis?
Well, it could be both. The question is, once someone comes to our facilities, again, our job is to give them a 1 day, 2 day seminar of what to expect. Have a pre-seminar, what to expect, and show them and educate them. You come into our facility because you've been abused violently or physical or mental, and we have to share that with the patient. Let's call them the patient, right? Mm-hmm. And once they understand that, maybe they'll do a little test and say they understand, etc. And then we'll admit them. We can give them a overnight stay, but before we admit them, they must understand why they're coming here and what we can do to help them from being independent. Mm-hmm. And once they've done that, and if they want to go back, we'll say, listen, you watched the video, you did a little test, you understand you're being abused, you're going to go back there, you may not live. A lot of people go back to their spouse, and some of them, take their lives,
That's right. I see Radha Totaram. Thank you very much for always your love and your support. I've always acknowledged that, at least in my brain, and I know that I tell you, it's always good to have viewers like you. So this is a question she has for you, and he did answer it earlier, but she says, would you have lawyers?
Of course, I have lots of lawyers. United States, Canada, Caribbean, Guyana, we have lawyers, and we have strong lawyers,
And, for those of you who don't know, this is Mr. Bethune, and he has a big business here in the United States, also Canada and Guyana, so definitely know that he will do well. We all know a lot of women. For the past couple of years, I've been talking to quite a few women in this who have been abused. And I got to be honest with you, a lot of them go back to their relationship. I'm going to ask you the question. DJ is going to play a song. When we come back, you're going to answer that question. How will you deal with that after these women? And I'm going to share my story back again. So many women run back to their relationship. Let's go, DJ, with another song. You're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show.
Do me a favor, let's play होली रंगों में है प्यार की बोली Do me a favor, let's play होली रंगों में है प्यार की बोली
मेरे पीछे 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 क्यों आए मेरा जिया जिया क्यों धड़काए जा रे
होली
ये होली हाँ ये होली
रंगों में है प्यार की बोले
ये होली हाँ ये होली ये होली हाँ ये होली
Do me a favor, let's play होली नीला पीला लाल गुलाल उस पे तेरे गोरे गाल काली काली आंखों वाली मस्त मस्त है तेरी चाल
है बहाना होली का पास आना चाहे तो चांद से मेरे चेहरे पे रंग लगाना चाहे तो ओ, होली है आनी जानी तेरे दिल में है बेईमानी मैं नहीं हूँ इतनी भोली उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली
Do me a favor, let's play होली
ये होली हाँ ये होली
Do me a favor, let's play होली
उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली
Do me a favor, let's play होली तू मिली जब से मुझको होली ही कुछ और लगे तेरी पायल के घुंघरू मेरी हर धड़कन पे बजे
यूं ही बातों बातों में दिल चुराना जाने तो माने ना कहना कोई तू करे जो ठाने तो ओ, तुझसे मैं दीवाने हारी तेरे प्यार की मैं हूँ मारी होली में तेरे संग में होली उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली उफ ये होली हाँ ये होली
Do me a favor, let's play होली
ये होली हाँ ये होली
रंगों में है प्यार की बोली
ये होली हाँ ये होली
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. We know, Mr. Bidesi, that a lot of women that's in abusive situation and that stay on, they are broken, they suffer from low self-esteem. How do you plan, or what plan do you have to place in your shelter to help empower these women that not to go back? The focus actually, I believe that you should focus really on to tell these women don't go back in abusive situation, especially if you have children. What plans you have?
Well, I like to tell a little story. About 7 years ago, a woman approached me, knowing that I have my business in the United States and we employ thousands of people across over the years, and she needed help. And I, volunteered to pay her the medical doctor who would see her, like a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist asked her, you're being abusive in your relationship, and your boyfriend, fiance is holding you on your neck, and he squeezes your neck, and you're choking, and you got out of it that day, and you're breathing again, okay? And it happens over and over. And the psychiatrist told the woman, suppose he choked you to that one last breath. When are you going to leave? Then that girl woke up and said, you know what? You don't know when your last breath is going to come. So if I'm being abused so much, let me leave. Simple as that. That's the psychiatrist telling the patient. Right. So people don't know. They think it's their heaven there. No, it's not. If you're being abused, verbal, physical, mentally, however you're being abused, that's not what life is. You have one life to live. Live it now. People say there's a heaven. I don't know who testified. Where's heaven? What did they say about this heaven? If you're not living happily here, and eventually your soul might live happily in heaven, but you're not going to live in heaven. There's a difference. So you need to live happily, and you have one life to live. And if you're being abused, you need to take your life seriously, because before you got into a relationship, you were not that stressed, you're not that abusive. So why do you want to deal with it? You need to empower yourself and have self-motivation. You don't need this in your life. There's others out there that can help you. Maybe a friend, and that's why we're opening up our shelters, so you can reach out to us eventually when it's open up, and we can help many people. And it's empowering that you have to have the motivation yourself. If you don't want to be motivated and you want to keep going back, then you're not motivated. We have to empower you more. So that's where it will start, by having the shelters coming over and counseling you from not just abuse, like I said, if it's suicidal, if it's stress that you have and you don't know what to do, which direction to go, we can advise you, you know. Many service, basically.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, that's good service you have there. We have Chandra Bridge. It's so good to have you. She's saying that's true. We have Kayum Khan. Probably you know Kayum. He's a happy part. But to all of you, Linda is saying, please share the link. Yes, absolutely. Please share the link. And there's a guy, Ajay Ramlochan. Let me read what he's saying. It boils down to social conditioning. Society values men as having more power over women. Naturally, that practical mindset set needs to go. Self-reliance, independence is the key step in moving away from abusive mess. You know, and I don't know, since when men, I mean, for a long time, I know men really believe that they can have the upper hand in any relationship, and which is not true, right? We have to, and I know that we are going to partner and talk about, we have to let our men know being in a beta woman, it's not the way to go.
No, definitely not.
We need to stress that out too, to share this message. Don't do it. What's your take?
Well, I agree with you, but it comes from education from the younger age, and that's the parents must be talking to their children, that's saying, listen, your age of 11, 12, 13, and start there, and saying, you're going to get into a relationship, you're going to get a boyfriend, girlfriend situation, and they're going to hurt you, they're going to curse you down, and whatever the case might be. But let them know there's others, just like the world. You know, many people leave relationship, divorced, separated, some people pass away, and they find someone. So if they know that, that's the start there. And when you have a relationship, especially a young age, the boy and the girl, well, the guy really moves on quickly. But the girl, like, oh, this is the only guy in the world for me, you know. No, it's not. If you look at your friends, if you look at your family, or just on social media, you'll see that movie stars or actors and actors move away, or they have other people. So you have to, it's with education, by logic alone, that you can move on. But it's hard, but it comes with education, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And we need to educate our young boys and our older men that abuse is never right. It's not the way to go. And then we also need to let our women know that, you know what, it's never accept any form of abuse. In terms of your facility, do you plan to teach the women them, or have a class, like, for example, teaching sewing, computer, making pastries and these things?
Yeah, of course. This is why we interview them. What are their love, or what their goals are, to do, or what their career path. If they don't have one, we'll find out what they like as a hobby and teach them in that direction, But I'd like to add something more on the previous conversation here. Like, when you first meet a boy and girl and they want to date you and they want to take you to the restaurant, or you want to hide by whichever dam you want to go, right? You're together happy. Then you got into a relationship now, and the guy wants to go to the bar with his friends. Who let the guy go to the bar with his friends? You, the woman, or possibly he's being bullied. I'm going to go. No, pick yourself up and go with the guy, And what can he do? You're in a relationship, By you staying at home, you're taking the abuse already. That's where it's starting right there, the dominance. Because he's leaving you home and saying, you got to stay home. Why do you got to stay home? Mm-hmm. If you have a child, take the child to the bar with them, If he's drinking, give him the child to hold while you sit there. I'm not saying to the women to go and drink too, but you can drink a soda, a juice, or whatever they have. But there must be a limit, If the guy's going to hurt you with like they say, the Bella or something at home, in front of his friends, you drag him by the ear. Let's go home. I'm sure he's not going to want to be tolerated being embarrassed there. He will embarrass you at home, but he would not embarrass you in public. So you have to build your dominance there. I'm telling you honestly, to change. The women themselves got to change. The ones that are educated or have a career path, who are going to let's say the bank job or GRA, they also have the same problem, but they're more dominant to make a decision. This relationship not for me. They move on and they can get another job somewhere else and be independent. You know.
And that's good too. I'm so glad that you're doing that. Do you think that after we make these women, they become go ahead and do nursing and or counseling or so on, you make them marketable there? Would you think that you can hire some of them too, and which is a good thing that you can do?
Well, again, in our organization is going to be growing. We'll have multiple locations. Yes, if they are qualified to take care of a certain area in our operation, yes, that's the whole point of creating this sanctuary for animals and home for women and children. Let's say, for example, we had some children in our shelter and they grow to a certain age of 18. We have to develop them to go find a job out there, maybe figure out how to build cheap housing and they can rent there or find a career on their own. But we just can't kick them out at the age of 18. We have to do pre-planning before that time comes. So the same thing with women, we have to pre-plan. What do you want to do? We have farming. You can grow. You can help us grow, and we'll export those crop or sell it to the market, and you get piece of the profit. It will be a structured deal. It's not like you don't know what you're getting. You will see. Now, if you don't take care of that part, let's say you have a half acre and you don't water it, and what are you going to get out of it? You're not going to get nothing. So you have to also be involved and participate and learn.
I see. It's good to have you, Mr. Mutu. He said, I was in a committee for abused women, and one common question that this woman is, why do you keep stay in a relationship that keeps being abusive? And to be honest with you, I can answer that a little bit. Despite we know we want women to get out of these relationships, women stay for a lot of reasons. One of the things is that they are not marketable. They believe that if they stay in the relationship, that the husband loved them enough, he will change, and he would never change. The other thing is, some women, they don't have any means of getting any kind of income after they leave the relationship, which is not true. That people can hire you to work and so on. A lot of women I hear, especially from our Guyanese population, is a lot of women stay in a relationship because of their children. And one of the things that I want to say from experience is that, and based on Mr. Mutu, what he wrote here, studies have shown that when women stay in abusive relationship, you hurt the children much more than when you stay inside. So that's why I've always said, we need to empower our women so that they could pick up themselves and go. And despite sometimes I get disappointed, but and I'm going to ask my friend here, how do he move on? And I'll tell you a story. A few years back, a girl had told me, a lot of things that I do, I don't really say it on Facebook, or I don't post it. But this was a story of a young girl who came to me and told me, her husband, she was crying and so on. Her husband was abusing her. He had two wives. One was upstairs and she was the other wife downstairs. And sometimes we put ourselves in bad position. So what I did, I drive. She called me one day when he went to work, and I went there quietly. She packed her things. I threw everything in my car, and I drive away. I took her by my sister's house, and she was there for I think about 2 or 3 days. And the other thing is that what happened is that I was lucky. Like my friend here, Mr. Bethune, sometimes we have a little connection. I don't have a lot like you do, but fortunately I was able to get a job for her. She started the job, and after she went to the job, I never see that girl again. She went back with her partner, with her husband, and the truth of the matter is, after a couple of, I don't know if it's a couple of months or a year or so after, I heard she was dead. I went to the funeral, and unfortunately, we couldn't see her in the casket. It was a sealed casket. I don't know up to this day what really happened to this young girl. Was she murdered? Whatever happened, but these things do happen. And I want to ask you a question, and this is a personal. How do you deal with these kind of things? Disappointments, when you really want to help someone and you want them to listen to you, but they don't.
Well, I mean, I'm logical, practical, and realist. If a person doesn't want to listen, I can only help her by educating. And if they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. You know what I mean? Until you feel it, you'll end up coming back. That's my logic only. But I want to leave that to the viewers here or anyone who's listening to that. As the psychiatrist said to that one girl, if you're being choked by your fiance, boyfriend, or husband, whatever it is, and you can't get that breath, and then you let go, and you say, okay, good. And how do you know it's not your last breath? What are you going to do? Why are you staying in the relationship? Why you go back to the relationship? If the guy is hurting you and he tells you he loves you, I mean, how does hurt say he loves me? Right.
Absolutely.
Get out. If a person hits you, condemn you, there's no love there. They're only giving you false information. Oh, I love you. I'll do anything for you. Do anything for me. Stop hitting me. Stop abusing me. Buy me the rose. Take care of the house.
Yes, yes.
Give me all your money, whatever the case may be. Let me manage the house. Now that you can see the person will be trying. Right. But if he's not going to do all that, the relationship is a dead end. It would not go further. Mm-hmm. In abusive relationship we're talking about.
Right, and that's why I tell women a lot of times, if you have to believe what you're seeing. If you see your husband is beating you every Friday afternoon, he's not giving you any money, he's controlling you. It's time. What you see, you need to believe your own eyes, and don't think that you're going to say what I don't believe that. I believe he's going to change. A lot of times, I believe that most people don't change. The abuser is still going to still abuse you. Let's see. Ajay says, and I'm glad I have some men listening to this. Ajay Ramlachan, he says, control is the root cause. Absolutely. They want to control. And, sometimes I like to say things when I remember them. I have to congratulate Mr. Bethune for his vision and for, wanting to help women, to be an advocate for women, especially in our beloved Guyana. So many of our women, as I said earlier, and as a study come out, they are being hurt, and sometimes it's too late. So we want to, together, we want to say, as men, as advocates, that we want to tell women, get out of it before it's too late. Especially, another story I want to tell you, and this is a true story. I'm going to send you these pictures. A couple of months ago, a girl who married to this guy, and she brought him to the United States. She sent me about 10 to 15 pictures, and I was talking to her every day. I was driving the nail, taking a hammer and hit, don't go, please don't go. Her ankle was fractured, her eye was swollen, marks all over her body. And, the truth of the matter is, it actually was one of my friend. And I was in a difficult position because here it is, my wife now. My wife, my friend, his wife contacted me and showing me all the pictures, and she don't want me to tell him. So that's a problem. Later on, he called me and I said, man, you got to love, I put it in a way, man, you have to love your wife and treat her nicely and whatever it is. And, he paint such a different picture that he didn't do this, that she run from the car and the car hit her, and a whole lot of stories. So, like I said, I'm going to say it all the time, we have to empower women to get help. And if they are going through, we all know a lot of times that women, they come for help and then they run back. Would you encourage women to, and I know the answer, but I still want our viewers to hear, would you, Mr. Bethune, encourage a woman to seek help with the police and to continue to go through, if you call the police, go through what you're saying. Don't go halfway and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go through. What's your take?
I agree with filing a report with the police. That's number one, to show the courts that you have evidence that they abuse you. And if you're being abused, they're not going to change. This is my take on it. Why would they change? They're not supposed to abuse you in the first place. I go back to the root of the relationship, when they're buying you all this ice cream and taking you out for dinner. What happened to that? If that is not happening, and they're going to say every Friday night, I'm going to hit you, maybe this is want to hit you and stay home so they can go out and drink or meet someone else.
Right.
So you have to wake up, and you got to wake up now, because a lot of people think that they cannot have another relationship. I know there's many women out there as well as men that the second relationship is just as loving and actually maybe more loving than the first one. So that's empowerment and that's understanding. And with knowledge, you have to understand, don't be stuck to that relationship. And today, it doesn't matter if you have kids. You can have 1, 2, 3 kids. The other person would accept your kids if he really loves you or whatever the case might be. You know, he might have kids as well. So no problem. But before you get into that other relationship, you have to know about the person. A lot of people just run into the relationship. I just met this guy. He likes me, he loves me. And, you know, these false words. I love you, you know. And it takes actually about 9 months to 18 months to actually see the true colors of that person. Not 3 months, 6 months. From 9 months to about 18 months, which is like a year and a half. If you're dating someone, you're going to know if they're going to be late or they stop sweet talking to you, the rose is gone, no more chocolate. So after 18 months, you will know what to do if you want that relationship to go forward.
That's right. I see we have Sharda Budu is watching all the way from Wisconsin. Chandra thanks for watching. My beautiful wife Geeta is watching too. I always tell my wife, she's very lucky to get a husband like me. And also, on the flip coin, she says, "You're lucky too." I said, "Yes, I know you are. I'm lucky too." And it's a beautiful thing to have a great relationship. My sister Naomi Ramdas is saying women have to educate themselves so that they can take care of themselves. And I'm reading Jacqueline Peters is saying mental abuse is just as dangerous as physical abuse. Absolutely no one wants to be in these kinds of relationship. So we are saying that, what the best thing to do, if you go ahead and you file a report about the abuse, we ask that you continue, go through with the charges before you drop the charges. Next thing you know, the husband come back and he start beat you again. We'll ask DJ to come, get another song ready. So we'll continue this. And Chan is asking why some have to suffer in a relationship. You don't have to really. And the truth of the matter is, love never hurts. You shouldn't have to cry if you're in love. Let's go, DJ.
Well, it's back what time right, and this is how we gonna do it. Let Omesh try this one.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good.
It's
good to share the information. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to share the information. Trust me. I think a lot of people on this show would, wake up a little bit, but they're not going to change overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Bring out your powder, bring out your happy, and bring a bucket water. Out on the butter say, we get you not a volley, on the butter say. Do it together. Bring out your powder, bring out your happy, and bring a bucket water. This how we do it. Out on the butter say, we get you not a volley, on the butter say. Watch! Hey! Lord! It's back one time! Oh my God! Celebrate with me! Celebrate! Watch! Bring out your mother and bring out your father. Well, they come first, right? Bring out your neighbor. Bring your neighbor and come and bring everybody to celebrate Bagua. Bring out your powder, bring out your beer and bring a bucket water. Bagua time! Out on the butter say, big get you not a valley, and the butter say. Come sing it with me! Bring out your powder, bring out your beer and bring a bucket water. Well, Bagua is a lovely time. A time in the year to have fun. Come, let me celebrate, man. Come, together. Watch. Bring out your brother and bring out your sister. One family, love it. Bring your grandmother. And don't forget your grandfather. Bring everybody to celebrate Bagua. Bring out your powder, bring out your beer and bring a bucket water. Time to celebrate. Out on the butter say, big get you not a volley, on the butter say. Bring out your powder. your beer and bring a bucket water. Oh my God, this don't mesh right. We gotta do it together. It's Bagua, water.
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. Let's see. We take off the handsome guy picture on the screen there. You know, I like to make things funny sometimes. You know what I mean? We can't be serious all the time, okay? Let's see. We have Radha Totaram says she's on fire. Sharda Budu is watching again. And Dolly Ramcharan says teach the woman self-care and how to be independent. And that goes to ask my next question to Mr. Bethune. You know, after these women or men, who may I say, completed their, you make them strong, you build them up. Is there any kind of aftercare you have for them?
Yes, obviously we have the data with them, and we'd like them to stay in communication with us. And today's technology is a phone call away, or email, or text. So there's a constant communication. But a lot of them that we are going to help are going to be in the industry that we create. If it's the farming, if it's the fishing, if it's the crafts or the sewing, you know, our organization would probably control and bring in all that equipment for them to constantly get the job. So that's going to be a crucial part that why we're doing it, is to make sure it's sustainable and scalable, that, you know, they don't lose their independence. You know, we cannot do it overnight, but it's something that we're planning to do, that anyone who's abused, we'll have to take care of them. That's the whole point of this foundation.
That's a good thing. You know, I was going to ask you, are you collaborating with the government of Guyana? What's the support you're getting? Because I have to tell you, they can't do this alone. They need people. The government of Guyana need people like you.
Definitely, and that's why I see Guyana, how it operates, and it's very simple for me to do it because I'm an outsider. All my life I've lived in Canada, United States, and the people in Guyana actually have a stereotype lifestyle where they go to work and they can only get that much income. But I'm from over here. I'm born Guyanese, from 59 Village, Berbice. So I see how easy it is for me, because I've managed, a company that's nationwide in the United States, Canada. We sell over 7,000 items. We bring in thousands of containers around the world. We distribute to thousands of grocery stores in the United States. We have employed thousands of people in the last 20 years. So this is nothing new for me to handle. You know, it's just like a chip on the shoulder. Yeah. But the government, as you say, they love the project, my presentation. They're looking at it. You know, the red tapes are there. What can we do? What we cannot do? It's not a government project. They don't want to give out to nonprofit that much. But that's why I'm going to take the lead and show them what I'm going to do. And maybe the next year or two, they can participate more in all these humanitarian work, which is the children, the orphanage, the animal shelter, and the women's shelter, as well as some of the men who are also being abused. And also I'm looking to do other things as this one scale, to handicap. But the handicap will not be there. We'll have to go and get them walking sticks or strollers or whatever the case might be, walking strollers we're talking about, or wheelchairs. And eventually, after this scale off, we're probably talking about retirement home for the elderlies, you know, the elder folks. So
I pray that God bless you with a long life, so you get to establish some things in Guyana, and probably your kids will be able to continue this, because you know what, I have to tell you, being a man and have your voice added to women, the woman will appreciate it, because you know what, having you and people like myself, and you know, I know you have a stronger voice, that you will be able to put a dent in domestic violence and abuse in children in Guyana. So I want to congratulate you and thank you so much for being a voice for the women in Guyana. In terms of employment, I think we talk about when they graduate from, let's use the word graduate from your place, and they have their qualification, you'll be able to do you have like people you can call? And I'm certainly sure that you, a man of your magnitude, I'm certainly sure that you can have people that you can call to help get some of these women or men employed.
Well, the foundation is called Vermin Bethune Foundation, and we're on Facebook, and we're also on it's called bdcfoundation.org, which is our site. Once we are on the ground and start up and running, we will be working with many companies in Guyana itself, all over Guyana, matter of fact, and looking for job placement. So a part of our organization, just like for medical treatment or education, will also be looking for the type of jobs that person's looking for. If she decided to go in the banking sector or production line of a company that makes beverage, but this is why when we interview them, we have to interview them and find out what they want to do or what they're capable of doing. And maybe all of them are not capable of doing it, but that's why we also have like maintenance on the property, from laundry, doing cooking, cleaning, washing dishes, farming. We have other industries that we're creating, and I don't want to say it at the moment until we actually start it and launch it, and we'll come back on your show and say, here's we're going to launch to better the women. And I'm sure we can better at least 20 with this idea that I have to be sustainable and successful as well.
Anything to do with abuse and so on in Guyana, I always tell my guests, you have a special key to come in the door. You all have to tell me which day you want to come, and I'll definitely clear the way for you to come in. So always know that you have a special key for this studio here that you can come anytime. And I know in years to come or months to come, you'll come back and we could talk more of how we can help people in Guyana. And let's go back to animals in Guyana. We know that in Guyana, there's stray dogs all over the place. We know we have animals all over the place, like they are being neglected. If someone has a dog and they can't take care of it, they take it to another village and lose the dog. So that's the plan.
Well, our plan is to advertise, do not lose that dog, or if you have a kitten, call us. We'll come pick him up and take it to our facilities, and later work with other agency that's in Guyana to have them foster care or adoption or something of that nature. We want to remove the dogs and cats or whatever animal that's injured or also causing a nuisance on the streets for safe driving. It could save your own life. So, it could be your family or friend who's in this accident, and you need to do the right thing by calling us once we're set up on the ground.
My other thing is that when we have to, one of the things I was checking up today is to see how we can help people. And I think education is the key for these people.
Correct. Education is key. I like to share out some website here at the moment that we have. It's www.helpusgy.com. We also have www.saveusgy.com and www.rescueusgy.com. And those three sites are one for women, one for children, and one for animals. So it's saveusgy.com, helpusgy.com, rescueusgy.com, and the main website is bdcfoundation.org. You'll find us. We like the public to support us and give donation if they can. That's part of what we're doing. Campaigning is a nonprofit, so that's a plus. You were talking about something about jobs, and this is something I wasn't prepared to talk about now, but I just want to give confidence to the people in Guyana, and they can also be part of investors later as this plan will roll out probably till the end of the year. We're planning to put a theme park in Guyana, state-of-the-art American-type theme park, which obviously can over 1,000 people can be employed there. And that's going to come from the orphanage and the women's shelter to have jobs. But that hasn't been built yet or hasn't been designed yet, but we're looking to do that. And once we have it up and running, we'll share the ideas and the vision we have online so you can understand what is coming to Guyana later.
That's right, and that's why we have to pray. We have to pray for you that God continue to bless you in a very special way, that he can make a difference in Guyana. Now, as I said before, we have to educate our people and let them know that, you're doing something fantastic for the animals and so on, and they just don't need to stray away these animals. They could just call you guys. You can go pick the animal up and take them to your sanctuary, which is a good thing to do. Do you believe that in your facility you would have like veterinarian, that when a dog come in, let's say it's a female dog, you will have them neutered and
spayed and neutered.
Spayed and neutered. Would you have that there? Because it doesn't make sense. You have all these female dogs running around.
Well, my vision is to microchip all of them or tag them And not only that, we will have X-ray machines there if they're injured, or just like you have a surgery room or a medical room for all these animals. So we're looking if a horse or a cow or whatever animal is injured to see if we can help them with a cast or heal them in some way in the sanctuary. So that's our goal or vision. We have a no-kill vision, that no animal will be euthanized unless it's beyond our hands. Like, it's in God's hands, in a sense that it got hit by a car or something, and you might as well put them to sleep because it's too much pain.
Yes. Again, let's say that you have a dog or 5 dogs, and they're good, they get better. Do you plan to, if when they get better, they get strong, if someone wants to adopt them, would you be able to? Are you open for adoption?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we don't want to just take the animals from the streets and just bring them into our sanctuary. And if there are people to visit they can visit our sanctuary and see how it is and how it's maintained, and also who wants to adopt. And if they don't want to adopt later, like they adopt the animal and they don't want them no more, bring them back to us or call us. We'll pick them up. So we're looking for that kind of communication with whoever wants an animal. Or if somebody has an animal right now and we're up and running and they're tired of taking care of them and they want to let them loose a couple villages away, no, don't do that. We'll be underground. Just call us. We'll come and pick the animal up, and problem solved.
When do you think you will have all these things up and running in Guyana?
I'm thinking this fall. Most of this will be up and running. We're waiting for a land title from Land and Survey. We don't want to build tomorrow morning and then the neighbor says you're building on my property. You know how Guyana works.
Right.
So we're a nonprofit organization and every dollar counts. So we don't want to build and then break again. So we're waiting for the title. We're expecting this title within maybe this month of April. Once April, we'll do groundbreaking, fencing, clearing up the land, building shelters for the animals first. We'll start immediately. Because that's not very upscale. That you need, air-conditioned rooms or something like that for them, or medical rooms and that. But we are going to be state-of-the-art, more different, like American-style housing for the dogs and cats or all animals.
That's a good thing. Now we know I'm not sure about the laws on animal in Guyana. Can you tell me? Would you be? And I'm sure that you'll get into the political arena in Guyana, in terms of animal laws. To make sure that they are being treated nicely. Would you be there fighting for them in
definitely
like Parliament to have laws?
Yes. I mean, a lot of people are talking to politicians right now, and the politicians are giving you good wording, but it's actually somewhat of false promise because they're not doing it. What we have to do is get a lawyer. And we're lobbying now to change the law. So the lawyer now will draft up and submit these bills to the politician. All the politician will have to now do is read it. Yeah, this looks good. Because if you ask the politician to change the law, he's not going to do it. It has to be a written procedure. And we have an attorney or multiple attorneys that would start writing these bills and present it to the politicians for Parliament to pass.
That's good. We're going to ask DJ to get ready for another song. And when we come back, we'll tie things up. I'll ask Mr. Bethune to tie up any good conversation as he want to have. Shanti, see that. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. I will say it again, Ken, you are a true humanitarian. Keep up. Much blessings to you. Well, thank you very much, sir. I always tell people these kind comments is just the gas for me to continue to make a difference in the world. And I'm just a small guy in the pot. And that's why I'm here to lend support. I just want to be a good platform for people like Mr. Bethune to continue doing what they're doing and to give them all the support there is in the world to make a better world and to make a difference in this world. Let's go, DJ.
O Bangali Babu
we going back to help the people in Guyana. We're not going back for no Dullahin or Dullahan.
Dullahin, what is Dullahan? Me say back up, me grip on them me go. Me got we come back and Guyana some more. Me say we back up, me grip on them me go. Me got we go back and Guyana some more. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu. I am the very best that in Guyanese Babu. I am the very best that the Guyanese Babu. Oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu, oh Bangali Babu, oh Guyana Babu.
Welcome back to the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone Radio. And as I said, and I see Rowena Lal was laughing, yes, we are going back to Guyana, and especially my friend Mr. Bethune, we are going back to do some great things. Nano Dullahin or Dullaha, to get some money to go back to make a big difference in, as Mr. Bethune says, in domestic violence and some animal, to help these animals from getting on the road to get hit down and so on. So I want to say thank you very much, Mr. Bethune. So what else we want to talk about? Donations?
Well, we're looking for you to, who are the listeners here, to share this live and also talk to your friends, neighbors, that's what's coming in Guyana, or what's going to come down in Guyana later on this year. So it's 3 humanitarian projects, which is orphanage, women's shelter, and animal shelter. So if you spread the words, more people are going to know. I'm sure if you're in Guyana, one of your friends and family are going to use our facilities once it's up and running, because everyone knows everyone in Guyana. Basically, it's a small community. So by sharing this, they're going to be aware, and people are going to be more motivated to say, hey, there's hopes out there. There's something's going to happen. A structure is going to be built for them to reach out to us, for animals, children, and female and male as well. Like I said, the smaller portion is the male domestic violence.
Also, if people want to help you with your organization, if they want to donate some money, they want to help you in terms of labor, what can they do?
Well, on the Vernon Badesi Foundation, if you go on Facebook, you'll see Vernon Badesi Foundation. We have a Facebook page. We have a Cash App on that page. Also, if you go to our website, bdcfoundation.org, you can donate to our cause. And as for the people who wants to volunteer, they can send a message through the Vernon Badesi Foundation on Facebook. Let us know what you plan to do or how you want to help in our organization once it's up and running. Or if you advocate right now or share the news for us, that's a big start right there.
Yes, and let me read Miss Rowena Lal comment. She said, thank you, Mr. Bethune, for everything you are doing to help our women and animal. Keep up the great work. Yes, and we have to keep him in our prayers. And guys, please share this page after we come off, and ask your family and friends to keep watching on this program. Anything you want to say to continue?
Well, we'll be back here on the show again to bring you more up-to-date news. So this is positive. And our family's been in business for, like I said, 45 years in the United States. We've been in business in Guyana already. However, my dad has been inducted in the Cricket Hall of Fame about 5-6 years ago. So we are a very solid company and family. We say what we're going to do. We're not here to play with people's minds or hearts. We're very, very committed to what we do.
And, I always like to say this part here. Let me read what Priya says. Good night to Mr. Bethune and Ken. Good, intuitive. Wish you success in all your vision and endeavors. Keep up the amazing work, Ken Rampersaud. Blessings. I just spend, like I tell people, I'm a psych nurse, and I read a lot of things about people sometimes. Not judging anyone, but for the short time that I meet Mr. Bethune, I could feel his humility, how humble he is. I would not know that he's probably a millionaire sitting next to me. So lucky and blessed to have him. He's very quiet, and I'm so glad that he is making a big noise for women in Guyana. and I'm sure that he is going to do marvelous things for you guys. So continue, like he says, spread the word, share the word, and if you can donate to Mr. Bethune Foundation, would be a great thing. I am going to be there 100% to support him in the little way that I know and the little knowledge that I have, and hope that I could bring him back sometime, or he will come back sometime, and we can have a nice discussion how we can help women and men and children and animals and so on. And so we all know this is such a big thing that he's doing for Guyana, that we hope that God will continue to bless him and guide him in all what he's doing. I want to take this opportunity to wish all of you a happy Pagua. God bless you and all your family, and continue to be a bright light in your family, in your community, or wherever you are. And so, Rowena said, great session. So anything in closing you want to say?
Well, I just want to give the women out there a little encouragement. There may be some people out there who have bad relationship. They get back together, but that's because the guy really wants to change, or whatever the case may be. But if you're in a relationship, you have to look at 99% of your chances. If you're in an abusive relationship, it's not going to work out. It's time to move on. Don't believe in that sweet talk, I'm going to change. If a person's going to change, they have to take action by counseling and show actual changes immediately and continuously. Now, if they change and a month later you're at the same place again, the tone has changed, it's not going to last. So you need to move on, figure out how to get your independence, get out of the relationship while you can. You hear about all these women getting abused by murder. Guys use their cutlass and chop them here and there. Even in Queens it happens, right here in New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the mentality of these Guyanese men are all over the world, not just in Guyana. So you need to move on. And if you need help, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, what to do, how to get out. And don't take too long. Life is short. We all know that. So I would encourage anyone who is in an abusive or violent relationship, move on, get out while you can.
I want to share, Priya said, don't take no sugarcoating, ladies. Radha Ram says, thank you, Ken. And Mr. Bidesi, awesome program. Rowena Lal says, abusive relationship is never good. 99.99% ends up bad. Chanbridge says, Mr. Kenneth and Mr. Bidesi, well, thank you. It was a great show. Thank you very much. Priya says, supporting in the sharing process, absolutely. And I want to read what Mr. Kayum Khan says, and I'm so glad I have him on the program. For those of you who don't know Kayum is a Guyanese guy, but he's a police officer with the New York Police Department, and has been he's very, very kind and very good in our community, always supporting our community. And he says, in domestic violence, both parties need to know that the judge can issue two types of order of protection: limited, which allows the individuals to remain at home but do not harass each other. Full order of protection means stay away completely from victims, but sometimes victims invite and bring defendants back, violating the order. And it's a true thing. A lot of women go, and men too, they go and violate the order of protection,
Yes.
ending up in debt. You've seen that, right?
Yes.
So that's a good topic there we have to talk about. And Kayum, if you want us to bring it on the show one day to talk about order of protection, what it means and so on, you know how to reach me. Ken Rampersaud, you got my number. You know we are family friends, so you can always reach out to me. And that's a good thing. You can come and talk about. I really want to bring out these kind of things with in our Guyanese. What is order of protection, and how can we help each other when we know that when we are violating these order of protection? So, on behalf of myself and Mr. Bidesi, we would like to extend happy Pagua to all of you, to your family, to your friends, and like I said, be the bright light. And DJ is going to get another song while I open the mic to Mr. Bidesi, and he will say his final words.
Yes. Well, I'd like to encourage anyone, like I said, education is where it comes from. And if you see movies and actresses and actors and your families, look at your family, look at your friends. How many of them are getting divorced? How many of them are splitting up? If they're splitting up, you can do it too. It's just simple as that. Do not stay there, because it's just only going to get worse. There's always someone else, and maybe the next relationship is not going to be great, maybe it's going to be somewhat bad like you have, but you can still move on again. People today date many people. They move on. They find 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 relationship, and that's when it works out. But when you have in the younger age of relationship, it doesn't really last very long, and that's because most people are immature. The tolerance is not there for them. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. You don't have a job. You can't support me in my, getting me clothes and jewelry. Some women like that. I'll be upfront. But again, it's a two-way street. It has to work if you want to build a future, a family, buy a house. So eventually you'll find that. At the end of the day, it happens. Everyone who's older or even have to leave that one relationship, they find peace. They find peace either by themselves or by family, but they find peace. So you need to make that decision by moving out or moving on.
That's right. And the final word for tonight, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Baldeo. Thanks for coming. I have to applaud you because you know what? Despite you have your little money, you make the time to be an advocate for our women and our dogs and animals. And in fact, well, I don't want to say dogs alone, but animals. So
yes.
that speak volume of who you are. And I wish you all the best in all the things that you plan to do. And good luck with everything that you do.
Yes.
So DJ is gonna go with another song, and we close with another song. And I wish you guys all the very best.
Thank you guys again. Thank you guys again.
And thanks for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show here on Island Zone. I have to thank you even to the people who we don't see watching the show. In the background, at the end of the week, I know most time I end up as one of the favorite show on Island Zone Radio. I thank you for that. It's not going to my head. It's going to my heart. And I always love your guys' support. It just makes me a better human being. Let's go, DJ.
With a brand new style, this is Ricky J, the Guest Dheeraj, alongside Double D, Major Haji Baya. True story, love story.
Good to have my sister Anita Dowlat Ram watching all the way from Canada. She said, thank you very much for all the work you and others are doing to help other women, children, and men. All the best in the future.
I met a little girl named Susie, a bounce up in a chutney party. She wearing she sexy sari. She take it off and she put on a mini. But when the music start to play, and we see all the girls she break away. She just jump up, start to wind up the girl around me, and you hear what she say. A scorpion stinging, I'm feeling that good. And she tell me, darling, if you love me, come right up in me. Patang patang, scorpion sting me, I'm feeling that good. What do you say? Darling, if you love me, come right up in me. Scorpion sting she, move she winery. The girl are moving like tiny winery. Scorpion sting she.
Run if the scorpion's stinging you.
Tiny whiny, tell me the number you play.
Love doesn't hurt.
When we go meet up again, me down. What you say? When we go meet up again.
Even if you have to get plastic bag.
The girl let's call me. She tell me that she want to see me. Asking me what really sing she. So I put on my clothes and went by she. I reached by her and I lie down. All of a sudden something just went wrong. I heard a ball out, something wrong. Now the scorpion sting she and ball out and shout. A scorpion sting me, I'm feeling that good. What you say? Darling, if you love me, come lie down in me. Scorpion sting me, I'm feeling that good. What you say? Darling, if you love me, come lie down in me. Say boy.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the Ken Rampersaud Show on this episode. Join me next week, Sunday, same time, same place. Have a very pleasant evening, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And have a good week.